Hello there. Today we're playing something a little putrid looking here. This is Super Mario Land for the Game Boy. So let's get into it. This game is a weird one. As you can tell, it's an odd looking Mario game. This is one of those games that I think people, whenever they talk about it, they're like, "Oh, it hasn't aged the best." Which okay, it's true. This is basically playing Mario on a calculator. Um, but it is so insanely charming to me. Even the song, like listen to this. Like it's so cute and just like aw, it kind of gives me the warm fuzzies, you know. It's like aw, little Mario Land, you're trying. Um, but yeah, this is a game. It's very short. In fact, I could probably, if I lock in, I could beat it in this sitting. Um, we'll see. But it's a very short game. But I love it a lot. So this is if you can't tell, this is a Game Boy game, and an early or like I think I want to say this launched with the Game Boy. I don't. This wasn't the pack-in, or at least it wasn't the main pack-in. But this was a very early Game Boy game, and it has this like early NES quality to it, where a lot of NES games, like when the system first came out, had a bit of a stank to them. But like once the system kind of matured and developers had more time to experiment with it, like it. Also, this is weird. There should not be classical music in my Mario game. Because like why? Like it's like oh they could just use the actual one up jingle from the first game, but they didn't. It's just a weird little quirk. Um, but yeah, so yeah, like a lot of early NES games, there's like an early Game Boy game stank. Um, and it's a separate stank than this like freaking piss green color we got going on here. Um, and trust me, it looks worse on my screen than it looks on yours. The capture footage is making this look a lot less green than it does on my screen. Um, can you just like? Oh, I forgot you can shoot under there. That's another weird quirk. Look at this like freaking fire flower thing going on here. Like they shouldn't bounce. So yeah, this is an odd game. As you can tell, like even though just like the jump physics are a bit off. But it's still to me it's very impressive for the time, especially just like the hardware. Like once you've held a Game Boy, I think you appreciate a lot of what they were doing with Game Boy games. Because the thing it's a chunky ass calculator basically. um, 3 lives, let's go. But yeah, it's freaking chunky and just it's weird. um, but it's a really cool system in my opinion. And I think yeah. When you play a Game Boy game on a Game Boy, it's something special. I only have Pokemon Yellow on my Game Boy because Game Boy games are expensive, but I would like to get some more. That's another thing. It's like you can just slip and slide off this thing. Like it has old. It has like NES platformer physics, and that like there's this period when like genuinely it felt like only like Nintendo knew how to make platformer games. Like just jumping in a bunch of old games is really weird. Or even especially arcade games. Arcade games, it's crazy. Um, Again, there's oddity number two. Like the turtles explode for some reason. Like you can't pick up their shells; they blow up. And I think a lot of that's just due to the limitations of programming on the Game Boy. Um, but that doesn't make it less funky and weird. Um, but yeah, it's very finicky sometimes. It's still not horrible. Like this feels better than I think a lot of older games feel. But there's just those quirks, especially because I feel like we're used to Mario feeling a very specific way, and he does not feel specific here. This is anything but. Um, Even like the way that movement happened there, that was something weird. Um, so let's see. I would love. Shoot. Okay. Um, But yeah, it's a weird game. And even okay, another weird thing, the one up there that I just got, that was a heart, not a one up mushroom. Probably because everything looks green as crap here, and so it's like there's not much you can do to differentiate. Especially when like we're used to like the green mushroom being the one that gives you a life, but on this early Game Boy copy, what are you gonna do? So there we go. I think there's 4 worlds in this game if I remember correctly. Um, I speed read that crap. That's cool. I'll take a fire flower. Um, but kind of in this similar like old NES way. The later Game Boy games I feel like have a very strong identity. Like it's a separate identity. Like there is a very clear two phase kind of system with like these early Nintendo systems where like you have the first few years of games where developers are trying to figure out how to use the tech, and then you have everything afterwards where like they know how to get the most out of the limited technology, and they can make some really compelling like pieces of art, I think. And I say specifically like pieces of art because like I think say like a game like Mario 3 on the NES, like that was 1990, and like by that point like they were able to like convey an art style for the first time. Like it felt like they weren't. That was like that's one of those games where like it feels like it looks the way it does, not because the developers were like limited to like it felt like it wasn't informed by the limitations of the hardware, but by just the actual design the developers wanted to do. And I think that's really impressive because like there was like 5 years in between the release of Mario 1 and Mario 3, and there's such a massive difference in the quality of the art. And just, yeah, the way the game looks, really, really impressive. I think to a degree you have that same effect on early like Super Nintendo games, like Mario World is visually I think a lot less impressive than say something like, um, Yoshi's Island or Kirby's Dream Land 3. Those two specifically, those are like my go-to like just stunning Super Nintendo games. Again, like games where it's like, oh, like these are conveying like the full extent of what they want to with their art, like genuinely. Um, so cool. Those little sphinxes are scaring me. Again, sphinxes in my Mario game, strange stuff, man. Um, and I'm thinking, yeah, just it's Bowser again. I think that might be the end of the World 3. Or World 1. I forgot that the worlds are only 3 levels long. But I do believe it's only 4 worlds, so that's like not a lot of levels. But it makes sense again. Like this is like very early, um, very early Game Boy game, and so it's like these are basically just stuff to play on the train. They'll work. Affect like the as the story goes. Gunpei Yokoi, I do believe, was on the train, uh, going to work, and he saw this like salaryman fiddling around with his calculator, and that inspired him to come up with like the design for the Game Boy. Ah, damn it. Okay. Inspired him to come up with the design for the Game Boy, and yeah, which is kind of why it looks the way it does, and why a lot of the games were really just like kind of honestly along the lines of what you would kind of expect a mobile game to be like. Early mobile games are like, hey, you just sit down, some high score based nonsense. Oh, it's so slippery. Yeah, it's the controller's fault. It's definitely not me just being an ass. Um, but yeah, yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, so that's a fun little story, and I think I really do because of that. Like, I really appreciate the design philosophy of, oh god, um, of older Game Boy games. Because it really is kind of like your first, yeah, your first like foray into like modern. I guess yeah, kind of like I guess what you would have thought of as like I guess not modern, but like early mobile game design philosophy. It's a lot of similar stuff. Um, and so Mario here on Mario Land, it's like it's so short because it's like oh you beat this on the train ride and you try to improve your score each time or whatever. Um, and I think it does a really good job at that. Like you can definitely you can beat this on a short car ride. And I imagine if you're a kid, this goes so hard in the back of the car. Like, um, I'm pretty sure in Full House, I do believe in the episode where like Stephanie's like seeing a therapist, she's like, "Oh, you got Mario, you got a Game Boy with Mario Land." I think it's one of the Mario games. I forget if she just wants a Nintendo Entertainment System with Mario. I forget. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Very very cool game to me. I'm running out of things to say about it because I mean, what can you say about something that's this piss green? But yeah, we're gonna hope I have some more things to say about it. Foreshadowing, Anyway, also seahorses in my Mario. Yeah, this game it's weird, and I think it's actually a trend. A lot of like Game Boy games from your like at that point your classic Nintendo series. I say that really just Zelda also has this weirdness to it, this weird stank about it. Um, and that's probably because I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure. I know for Link's Awakening, it was a completely different team than developed the console Zeldas. But I think it was a different team developing Mario Land. I think this was headed by Gunpei Yokoi, um, and so that's going to explain some of the weird shenanigans. It's just because like oh Goombas that's Miyamoto shit. Um, so, but it helps this game have more charm outside of just being, you know, freaking ugly. um, like it really helps to have a strong identity because it's got all these weird freaking guys that are in no other game. Um, and that's something I think you see in a lot of early Nintendo games is that there's a lot of variety because the core like brand identity hadn't been fully developed, and so it's like you got freaking robot guy right here. Like well, that's not Mario shit, but he's here. And yeah, I don't know. I think you can kind of tell what enemies were made for this game, which ones were like adapted from the NES, because like that's a Goomba, you know, that's a Koopa, but like there's very little detail to them. Whereas like these seahorses and there's a freaking robot, which like these were made for this Game Boy game, they're a lot larger because they were designed to fit the Game Boy resolution. Damn it. Yeah, they were designed to fit the limitations of like Game Boy games. More than they were designed for like they're not like downscaling something. Um, and so I think I would say like I'm pretty sure yeah I would like Link's Awakening. While that game was made with a lot better understanding of the Game Boy's like capabilities. It's another game where like they use a lot of different and weird enemies because they can, and it's pretty interesting. How do I get up? Uh, there we go. I didn't remember if this game had like those invisible blocks, and so I was kind of like, wait a second, can I get out? But I can't. I'm good. Boop, boop. Also, this is another cute little song. This is like peak YouTube outro music. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. Um, get some water. Okay. But yeah, this is a cool game. I need to stop just saying it's a cool game. God. You tell I'm running out of things to say. Um, Also, what is this? Again, it's like, but like at this point, like I feel like this came out like, I want to say 89 or 1990. It was one of those years. But it's like Mario didn't have as much of an identity at that point because like especially in the U.S. because you had just had Mario 2, um, Mario. Did you know Mario 2 was initially Doki Doki Panic in Japan because they thought we were wimps in the U.S. I do. Was that? I don't, that wasn't Ron Howard who decided to not release that in the U.S. I don't think. I was gonna say thank you, Ron Howard. I don't think that was him. Um, I forget the guy. It was that one guy who just play tested all those games, um, and he was like, "This shit's hard, man." It was like you're gonna make the U.S. kids cry, and that's true. Mario 2, as Japan knows it, it's an interesting game. I don't know. I have mixed opinions on it. I think I do appreciate the difficulty, and I think it's really cool to see like a harder version of Mario 1. But at the same time, it's just I don't know. I want it's like it's a little too cryptic. And I know I'm a big defender of like Zelda 1 and its crypticness, but like it's cryptic, but it'll still like if you mess around with it enough, it'll tell you what to do. Like you can find the NPCs who'll be like, "Oh, go behind this waterfall and talk to the woman." There's still that. Whereas, what is this noise? Listen to that. Ew. Um, but yeah, like Zelda 1 will at least tell you these things. Like Mario Land, no, not Mario Land. Sorry, Mario 2. Um, like the lost levels. Like genuinely, if you, I don't know how you would figure out how to do half the stuff in that game. That's like required to beat it. Yeah, I don't know, it's crazy. Um, and so I think that hampers the experience because like Zelda 1, you mess around with it enough, you can figure it out. I don't think that's the case for Mario 2. Um, and I think they know. I think they know this. I want to say there was an interview sometime where Miyamoto said that was his least favorite Mario game or something. I don't know. Maybe not. No, interestingly, um, the one thing about this game's like kind of identity that I feel like has stuck around a good bit was these like freaking moe heads. I think that's what you call them, moai. Um, but the Easter Island heads, those guys. Um, but they only really came back somewhat recently with Mario Odyssey. I think it's interesting. Like Mario Odyssey does kind of take a few different things from this game. I feel like just for that like one kind of like deserty world. Um, I set that, but as I'm thinking about it, I can't come up with anything else that it took off the top of my head. So maybe I'm just full of nonsense. Who knows? Um, but I think yeah, they're pretty cool. And they're a cool enemy. And again, they really help this game have a very strong. I died. They help this game have a very strong identity. Outside of just being a Game Boy game, which I think is good. I think is good because they very easily could have just leaned into this being Game Boy Mario. Like, oh, it's Mario in your pocket. But no, they did actually. I think. Oh, it's so slippery. They did do some very interesting things, I think, with the gameplay, or not gameplay, with like just the general aesthetics and the music design. Because like again, this is not Koji Kondo music, and I think honestly, like oh no, that was unfair. That was the game's fault. That was not on me. Um, but yeah, like as like I don't know, if you heard this music on like an NES Mario game, I feel like it would feel like a bootleg. Like that would feel like some turbo bootleg crap. But here it feels just endearing. It's cute, Like and so I think in general, and now I'm thinking about it, I think a lot of the things done in this game would not feel right on the NES. Um but like they feel more natural and okay when Mario looks freaking weird, you know? And I think that's intentional because, like, even the setting of this game, it's like, oh, we're in Sarasa Land. We're saving Princess Daisy now. So they kind of really lean into this, like, surreal nature of the game. Okay, they're like, hey, we know this is some weird, messed up junk. We get it. Um, and so, yeah, I think this game kind of deserves some props for that because they very easily like okay, well, like they did with future games, they were like, oh, I don't know, I think like Mario Wii, that's Mario on the Wii, like Super Mario, like it's Mario on the Wii, right? New Super Mario Brothers U, its identity is the console it's on, really. Like it does not have a ton outside of that, and that's I think a crutch you can definitely fall into, like with a series like this. Like I feel like it's very easily from a design perspective to fall into that, especially when it's a series that I think honestly focuses so much on like the mechanical design. Um, I can understand. I can see like how, especially like in the Wii U era, like it makes sense to me. How I did you? I thought you were supposed to write on that. Um, I can see how the developers kind of fell into that trap. Because a lot of them are very like mechanically focused developers. And I think a lot of the Wii the Wii and Wii U era Mario games, they are like mechanically speaking very well made in my opinion. But just like the aesthetics, um, just really nothing to write home about. And like that's I think a lot of what helps a game stick is the aesthetic. Um, and yeah, they lack that. And yeah, I think I don't know. I think I have more positive opinions on like the new Super Mario Brothers games than most people do. Um, that doesn't mean I like them that much. Like, but they do. Oh, oh, I don't want to die here. That'd be really bad. Because if I die, I'm not replaying the game. Um, so like the vid, like if I die, if I get a game over, the video ends. I think at this point I just am going until I get a game over, or I beat the game, whatever comes first, baby. I think I might just stick on this rock. I'm not gonna risk it. because there's not really a reason to. Can I jump? Yeah, I can jump up here. So it's like, who cares? Oh! Oh, God. Oh, no! Oh, shoot. Okay. That's fine. Okay. I think we're into the level, so I can get some of my... Whoop! Damn it. It's so slippery. I'm not even going to get those anymore. I'm just going to try to, yeah, get up here. Get some lives back. That level took way too long. And this screen is taking too long as well. I feel like that music was making fun of me. I think this song appears in other Mario games. No, actually it doesn't. But it's reminding me of Burning Town from Shantae. Which I think isn't saying much. I think it's just, I don't know, kind of like generic, like, deserty music. I think the hardest thing, once you get into like levels like this where like there's a little more going on, it gets very hard to like control Mario because he's slippery, and it's like one, like, just because something would work in a more traditional Mario game does not mean it works here. Like, even that move right there, like, that would have been way harder to pull off in a traditional Mario. Oh God. But because this game's freaking weird, that was a way easier to pull off. But then again, you can just slide right off of things. Like, that's probably the biggest flaw, is how much you can just slide right off. It's like he's so slippery. Like, just the physics are very, very wonky. Like right there, like that was horrifying, because like one wrong move and you are toast. All right. All right, I want to get down there to get another life, or to get another coin, because I'm one away from. Oh no! Gosh, it's getting a little frustrating. The design flaws are showing here. Um, this might be where the video ends. I swear. Um. Hmm. Okay, well, this is scary. Okay, so we're gonna let that spider jump over here, and then bop it on the head. Let that fall. Let that fall. Bop. Jump, jump. Okay, we're safe. I'm terrified. That was much needed. I'm trying to get all the coins I can now, because my life is in danger. This song sounds like Pokemon, like cave music now, which honestly, this has me feeling like a Pokemon cave, to be fair. Um, I feel like in this game you really don't have to like run and jump as much. Like your momentum does not matter nearly as much. Oh my goodness! Give me those coins. Give me those sweet, sweet coins. Okay. That was unfortunate. Okay. Oh gosh, if I mess this up, it could all. Well, guys, thank you for coming to. Oh, continue. What's that mean? Oh, oh, we're back. I was genuinely about to close the video. I was starting my closing video spiel, um, but no, Miyamoto and the ghost of Gunpei Yokoi smile on us. Let's continue. That was sad. Okay. So I don't know what it takes to earn a continue, but I only had one of those, so gotta be aware. But I will say one thing I don't really like about continues in these like kind of old video games, like the continue. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, that was short-lived. Um. All right. Let's see if it'll give us another continue. Nope. Okay. Thank you for watching this video. I might do another one. We'll see. I probably will. I probably will do another one. Yeah, but yeah, thank you for watching. And I will see you guys in another video. Goodbye.